Hey everyone, this is Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast on everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet Mer.
Alright, so this week up on the Sprocket, of course, as
So much.
always, we are going to be starting off with what we have been up to, which is, like you said, so much. And then, speaking of so much, we do have other updates to go over this week, which,
Miscellaneous fixes.
yeah, there's a grand total of like 5 whole things in the patch notes this week. So, I guess here's the crossing our fingers and hoping there's more stuff going on later, and they come out
Tomorrow.
with a new blog tomorrow. Maybe, potentially, a update on the Deadman situation. It's been over 2 weeks.
Robert is bringing it up every single week. Not even just on the podcast, just talking to me too. He's like, still no mention of that.
Yeah, I mean, the last update was randomly a comment from Mada Aiza and a different person's post 4 days ago saying that they're working on it.
Yeah, I don't think they've given up because they haven't even announced the winner yet.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm convinced they gave up.
I'm not.
But anyways, yeah, so no new stuff besides this one update, and then we'll be ending off with our Q&A as per usual. If you do want to participate, you can in the Q&A by asking us pretty much any question about RuneScape or other games or just real life stuff. Feel free to head over to discord.gg/Bunebape, where we do have a questions section. That would be by far the best way to get your question across. But if you are listening on Spotify or YouTube or anywhere, just drop your questions there. There are sections for all that types of stuff, and we'll try our best to answer them.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that really cool stuff, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going well. I've actually done some stuff this week. Wouldn't you believe it? You wouldn't believe it. I don't know the saying. Oh, that'd be so funny if Robert just got up and fully left.
Just-
If he was watching the video, he just went to grab his phone. That would be so funny if you just leave.
I was like, all right, I'm tired of this situation. I'm gonna go forever.
Oh, okay. I've been doing some tops this week. We got a rapier split, not in my name, but it was 18 mil each, which I'm pretty happy about because it's. I don't think we even got any money last week. No, we didn't. So I'm happy about it. And then I also have been doing a lot of Hunter recently. So I got 97 Hunter, and I'm like probably like 40% of the way to getting 98.
Yeah.
And just not killing, just capturing Red Chin Champas, never killing them. And praying that I get the pet before 99, even though I don't think I will. I got so spooned on the Quetzal, it's just, I can't imagine getting spooned again. It
Yeah.
feels impossible, especially because I'm not doing the black chins.
Yeah, getting, you know, like fed, like spoon drops back to back like that is, pretty uncommon.
I know.
I did see someone today posted that they got a Abbey dagger and an Abbey whip from an Abbey demon,
That's sick.
which
I
is
saw
like a
someone
1
else.
in 600 and like a 1 in like 3 or
Like on the
4,000
same
or something.
KC?
Yeah, on the same KC.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you could get them on the same KC.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, really. I felt like it was more until I said it out loud and realized it wasn't much. But Hunter and raids. And then this weekend, more Hunter and more raids, hopefully.
Yeah, true.
And then in real life, I've almost passed 90 days being at my work, which is pretty exciting because that means I will no longer be fired for calling in sick 3 days. It'll be fired after calling in sick 7 days in a year. But I've been terrified. Anytime I feel sick, I just go in anyway. So that's such a relief, honestly.
Yeah,
Just wanted to update you
real
guys on
life
that.
quality of life.
Real life quality of life. Still kind of a lame rule, but whatever.
Speaking of quality of life, I don't have anything to talk about, but
Your other games.
I do have some posts I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played any RuneScape in quite some time.
He's been very into MapleStory.
Yeah, it's fine.
We're renaming the podcast Baplevory.
No, we're not.
What would you call it?
We're not calling it anything. We're calling it Bunebape. But there is stuff I wanted to bring up. It's funny because I was like wondering like why I'm still thinking about the rot stuff, and it's because I was searching through the subreddit just now to like find
There's
this
a lot
post,
of rot stuff on there.
and every single post is about rot because there's nothing going on in the game. There's nothing going on outside of the game. There's nothing else to even talk about.
And they're tied in with the Deadman stuff, if that seems kind of random.
Yeah.
The two are related.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but someone also posted, and this I think was a pretty fair point and a good post, and they said, don't let all of this drama distract you from the fact that 2 years ago they said, and they even linked the post, and I remember them saying this in March of 2022. They said we're all working on upgrading their support center experience, including exploring a live chat service for select queries to improve accessibility of our player support.
Where's that? I literally work at a call center and they won't hire me, and it's so insulting. I would be the queen of customer service.
Well, yeah, because you'd
This,
be the only one that worked there
yeah.
in customer
Also,
service.
this community is very mean. I'd probably get like death threats. So.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You'd probably get death threats before just for applying.
I would not. If I ever actually got a job at Jagex, something that affected players, I would probably not tell anyone.
Yeah,
Until
no,
after I
absolutely.
quit, because people are scary.
Yeah, like all the CMs, whenever they come out and like say that they're like, part of the community now, I'm all like, oh, that's unfortunate for you. I'm sure. I mean, it almost immediately didn't go well for Mod Light, so.
Yeah, leave women alone. There's a lot of harassment, but you can't pretend it's not worse for the women.
Yeah. Anyways, though, not really much going on in game. Nothing of note. Some people got some cool drops, but really, it's just like I said, mostly like posts about Deadman and Rot and stuff like that. So there's really nothing community-wise to even update people on. So I guess we can just jump into stuff that hopefully is going to be coming around next week or changes for this week.
Yeah, so miscellaneous fixes. Starting out, this is how you know it's going to start huge. Osmuntum's Fang icon changes.
Yeah. This is the meat and potatoes of the whole thing, so strap in.
Get ready. Put your strap.
Put your strap-ons.
I wasn't sure if you'd be okay with me saying that. Anyway, a few weeks ago, we tweaked Osmuntum's Fang's model, and I say Osmumpton, by the way. I put a P in there.
Yeah, there's no P. It's Asmumptons.
I did that the other day, side note, because, like, you could do, like, the price check. And I was trying to figure out how much the Fang costs. And Wraith was making fun of me because I put Osmumpton.
Yeah, you should just put
I spelled it wrong, like, 3 times. I didn't realize, I'm actually going to make a short on this. I didn't realize that if you start typing it, it will auto-finish it for you.
Oh, or
you could just type
in
Ozma and it would work.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, you don't have to type the whole thing. You could just put Osmum, and then there's nothing else in the game named Osmum.
I thought you had to spell it all the way out.
No.
I didn't realize it auto finishes it.
Yeah. Well, it's
cool.
a filter. It's not a search.
Yeah. Anyway, so they updated the model and special attack as part of the animation spring cleaning. This slight model adjustment ended up causing the Fang's inventory icon to appear smaller than before, and you weren't keen on it. I didn't realize that it was smaller. I just was like, why does this look different? And it makes sense now.
It looked terrible.
It looked goofy.
Yeah.
We heard you loud and clear, and the art team has been working on adjusting its inventory icon based on your feedback. You'll be pleased to hear that both the standard and ornamental Fang's inventory icons now look bigger and clearer as per your request. The regular thing I feel like looks good. I feel like the the ornament kit one looks like too round. It looks very like noodly. I'm not opposed to it. I think that they look goofy, and I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, I don't really.
But I think it's
care.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's the big update this week.
Yeah, huge. You might be excited for what's coming next week, though, which is pretty nice. I think I remember saying that I don't think there was going to be anything before this between Deadman and this.
I was so convinced that we were going to get an update between Deadman and Araxer.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
so
think
convinced.
So. But yeah, so we're going to be getting Araxer, the new Araxite boss for Slayer. I think it's 91 Slayer, or 91 or 92, either way. It's pretty high Slayer.
Mm-hmm. That'll be Wednesday, August 28th. So next week, we are actually going to have a more than 5-minute long podcast, potentially.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, I realized today, our first half recording, we always record over 2 days if you're new to listening. This first half is literally going to be like 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
I'm fine. It's really hot.
Unless we have something else to like randomly like.
If we go on a tangent.
Yeah, I was like tangent on for like 30 minutes.
There's not much opportunity for tangents here. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Yeah, there's really not much to talk about. They do say that for those of you who need to catch up, we first discussed the Araxite of Mauritania in a poll blog. So if you want to go back and check that out for some reason, you can. I don't even know why they brought that up.
They're just trying to add more to this.
Yeah, this is something we didn't know last time.
Well, before this actually.
Oh, okay.
The Araxor, what's it bringing? It's bringing a new best in slot.
A best in slot necklace.
Yeah, that's kind of cool actually. That's pretty
exciting.
As
well as a technically new best in slot halberd, which is like a +1 range melee.
And a little spider pet.
Yeah, and
cool.
for anyone that hasn't been aware, the new halberd is going to be a +1 range like every other halberd, and on top of that, it's going to have DPS somewhat on par with the salad blade from CG.
Nice. It's a good alternative for people who hate CG.
Yeah, so it'll be, I mean, if that is true, then it'll be nearly best in slot slash.
Nice.
So I guess that's cool.
That's very exciting.
It
The
does.
necklace is just straight up, yes, exciting.
Yeah, the necklace is just straight up best in slot.
Yeah.
So for everyone. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, you have that to look forward to. Also, a potentially easier way to get. It's ridiculous saying this because it's 91 or 2 Slayer. Potentially an easier way to get anti-venoms for Iron Man, so that could be exciting.
Super beginner account stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, in order to make anti-venoms, you need like 95 herblore or something.
Really?
So, yeah, so potentially this won't allow you to make anti-venoms. Let me correct anyone that thinks that's what I mean, but no, it does give you anti-venom like properties for like I think like 40 seconds or something like that.
I forgot about all that stuff.
Yeah, you can use the anti-venom sack by itself or combine it for an extended anti-venom.
We'll be going over all this in more detail when it comes out.
Yeah, just a quick overview in case anyone did miss it.
Because I already forgot.
But yeah, they did not mention this, so this is kind of new since last week.
I think I mentioned it because I saw on Twitter, but we have a Summer Summit announcement. So mark your calendars for September 7th at 8 p.m. BST, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. for us, for all the exciting news the Summer Summit will bring. Want to find out what we've been working on behind the scenes? Are you curious about the future content releases and what's in store for you? Make sure to tune into our official Twitch channel on the day to get a first look at OS's roadmap for the rest of the year, up until the next summit at RuneFest in March. They're not doing a winter one. They're doing it in March. I missed that line because I was like, oh, I already know about the summit. Oh.
Yeah, so their next summit, they're holding for an additional 3 or 4 months at least until the RuneFest.
I am not that surprised.
I mean, that's what I was saying,
they needed,
right?
You said they needed something.
Yeah, I was like...
I thought they would just like the golden gnomes.
I was like, are they going to do the announcement for winter and then just have nothing to talk about during RuneFest?
Honestly, I can't blame them for that. I can blame them for having it in March because it was kind of random. They should have just had it next year's summer, but
yeah, whatever.
That's kind of cool.
They should have just had a better plan for RuneFest, but you know, that's a different discussion.
This part's kind of cool.
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, that's pretty cool that it's in September. So
yeah, like 2 more weeks.
Yeah, not too far away.
I'm excited for it. I love those. I really hope we're getting leagues again, even though I don't think so. I hope.
If I had to guess, it's early next year.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it'll end, and then we'll have the RuneFest.
Oh, that would actually make really good timing, wouldn't it? Start it in January, end it in March, and then like do something cool for it at RuneFest.
No, I think it'll start in January and end in February, and then there'll be like a week or 2 of dead time.
And then they talk about RuneFest.
And then RuneFest.
I could see that.
I honestly think...
Well, that would still be a league's announcement at least. I'm hoping for it.
I think for a good while after February, it's going to be really boring.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also don't think we're getting a new skill this year.
No, I think late 2025 at earliest.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Which I'm fine with. Take your time. I want it to be good.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of the main things they talk about at RuneFest.
I was going to say, they're probably going to try and have an announcement date for RuneFest. But they really just shouldn't.
If I had to bet, they'll have something playable at RuneFest.
Ooh. I still kind of want to try to go to RuneFest.
Or something. Like something to show off at least, if not playable.
Yeah. I want to try and go, mostly if Ellie goes, because otherwise I don't know when I'd be able to see her.
Where is it, Birmingham?
Yeah, it's in Birmingham, but Ellie's in, like, Argentina. I mean, I'd almost rather go to Argentina than Birmingham. But I have more friends in
I'd rather not go
England.
to either, but yeah.
I want to go to Argentina. It seems fun.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. Make sure to check it out if you're interested, but I'm sure if not, everyone's going to be covering what they're going to be talking about in Summer Summit, because like we said, there's not much to talk about in the game right now.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
As far as the
Summer
Summit goes.
Well, this is still Summer Summit related.
Yeah,
There's going to be a watch party on Discord. That's kind of cute. If you don't have friends, this could be a cute way to make some RuneScape friends.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's not mean. It wasn't supposed to. So it's still like, nice, motivational.
No.
As this year's Summer Summit airs, we'll be hosting a watch party in our official Discord server. You'll be able to watch it together with fellow scapers, our lovely chat mods, and some J mods and its dedicated channel, making predictions about what will happen at the Summer Summit and filling out a community-led bingo board. I'm assuming actually real bingo in this situation, not like our bingos where we're like random.
Yeah, probably.
We'll be giving more details about this community activity on Discord closer to the time, so make sure to join that channel if you're interested. And with these announcements out of the way, let's get to the tiny baby fixes. We are literally almost at the end of this blog already.
Yeah. Also, just before we do get into the other parts, for a
Yes.
reminder, in case anyone like just heard about the Araxor stuff and like is like interested in it at all, make sure to point boost now.
Yes.
If you point boost now and save up 1,000 points, then you can actually do Araxor for a little while, hopefully, instead of having to just point boost for 3 days after it comes out.
Honestly, I should point boost now, but that's probably what I'll end up doing.
Yeah, probably just save up like
Where do you even get a
few,
spider task?
At least a few. It's not a spider task. You cannot.
Oh, it's
get
an
it.
Araxor task.
You
I forgot.
cannot. For anyone that is like Michelle, you cannot get it through a spider task.
They told us like 20 times and I forgot.
Yes, it is an Araxor task.
They're,
And because
they're
has
technically not a spider.
because it's such a high level, I wouldn't even attempt to like go to Vanica or anything like that. For anyone that for some reason would think that, yeah, just go to Duradel or Curadel or Uradel, whoever.
Neve, Steve.
Neve, Steve, Reeve, Leave.
Yeah.
All of those people should assign it.
Next, we have some tiny little baby changes.
Yeah, so the Keymaster in Cerberus's lair, there's literally 7 changes, so or 8 changes, sorry. The Keymaster in Cerberus's lair no longer shows a combat level.
The Deadman Armageddon variants of the Mage Arena 2 capes should now work as intended with the respective god spells.
Special attacks can once again be used in LMS on free-to-play worlds.
Iron Man can now pick up the Keystone Crystal if a teammate drops it in Chambers of Zarek. The crystal still awards points to the player who initially collected it, rather than the player who uses it to complete the room.
The offhand Incamdo Hammer now correctly works with the Infernal Eels and Coconuts.
Robert had to explain that to me, because
Well,
I thought you were like
that was
juggling
just-
all 3.
This was just let us know what actually weird happened with the eels and the coconuts. I was just saying potentially there was weird animations where you're holding the Camdo Hammer and like a fishing pole at the same time, or
Farming.
or like a harpoon at the same time. And if you're like collecting coconuts from a tree, maybe there's a weird animation with the hammer as well.
I took it as there's a weird tick manipulation method where you are messing with coconuts and a hammer while fishing infernal eels.
That is probably more possible.
And
than
I was
mine.
just like, what is this? Like, who's doing? That's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually not unlikely.
I feel like yours is right.
They also corrected a typo in the name of the offhand Incamdo Hammer.
They corrected the name of the cat mask. I looked this up. They were calling it Cat H. They actually updated the cat mask to look different last week, which they
Really
didn't
weird.
mention. Yeah, it's very strange. I'm surprised people aren't complaining.
Yeah, it's funny because they have changed. They randomly either break or change things without people knowing.
Yeah.
Very, very often. As an example of this, not even related to the cat
You
mask.
search cat mask and the second result is Cat H.
Yeah, not even related to them randomly updating the model for the cat mask, but also, for instance, the monkeys in Monkey Madness that people use for multi and for leveling range and mage suddenly are now only single way combat.
No.
We don't know if this is a bug. I don't know if this has been addressed.
Nuh-uh. I'd be so upset. I'm so sorry if you didn't get 99 before that.
But-
That's the way.
We don't know if this was intended. I doubt
I
it.
feel like that must be a bug.
But yeah, so that's like weird, and why would that be changed?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Has this already been fixed?
I don't know. I saw it
I
today.
mean, the wiki's not showing it.
Well, the wiki doesn't get updated.
Well, someone updated Cat H.
Yeah, because I was in the patch notes. But yeah, so that's like just a weird thing that like gets broken for no reason and or changed for no reason.
And hopefully it's fixed.
So yeah, who knows? I wish they would be more thorough with their changes. Then they said in the past they're like, oh, we can't keep track of all the changes. I'm like, oh, then you should go through the change log and read what it like. I don't know these things
Or just
exist.
see what other people are pointing out and bring it to attention.
It's not like
'Cause
1905. We have to like go through the like actual changelog document paper or
maybe
something.
they do.
It's crazy, dude. Lastly, though, they tweaked a shrine in the Temple of Renewal to face away from the wall. Huge.
Huge, huge. You know what? And we talked for 21 minutes, not 15.
There you go. We're able to drag it out somehow.
Let's go.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some more stuff to talk about tomorrow. This was
Please,
not
God.
a very long little patch, but that's what we have so far. Not
It's
too
not much,
much.
but it's honest work.
So luckily, we have been blessed by the Jagex. There's been 2 blogs.
Yeah, and one of them is something that Robert was really looking forward to hearing about.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
a huge update, but
no.
it's something.
It's actually very disappointing, but
So, update to the docket. We have Deadman Armageddon next steps, and we have behind the scenes of sailing, which I forgot was a thing.
yeah, and sailing is actually there's a lot of info for sailing, so that's pretty
Thank
good.
God, because I was like, this is going to be a really short episode.
Which would have been fine, but it's always nice to get little drops like this. That's also one of the reasons why we do the podcast not the day of the patch, because
Yeah.
there's always something.
That's from the beginning, we're like, we need to do it the day after.
Yeah. Anyways, we do have a little bit of an update on the Rot/Deadman situation.
Yeah. So, do you want to read it or me?
No, go ahead.
They said, this was from the 22nd of August, by the way. We'd like to once again thank you for your patience while the team has continued their investigation of foul play during the Deadman Armageddon finale event. I like the usage of the word foul play, like there was like murder
Something
here.
is afoot.
Something is afoot, that's for sure. The investigation has been very thorough, meaning it has taken quite some time. It extends past our standard Deadman checks, as you rightly pointed out, areas of investigation that go beyond just Deadman. We all know who they're talking about.
What?
Our investigation has led us to look into old school accounts too, ensuring every area we can explore for more information has been mined to give us a complete picture. We know you're eager to hear any further action being taken. We're happy to inform you that we are now in the final stages of this process, and we expect to close the matter with our final update to you next week in the form of a news post on the OSRS website after the UK bank holiday.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they say next week. We'll see how many people are banned. We'll see who won Deadman.
I am suspecting not many people of significance will be banned.
I just think that's because most people of significance would use alt accounts. They wouldn't do it on their main account. I think that they would cover their tracks basically, so that they couldn't get in trouble. Is what I'd guess.
Sure, but I mean, you could like low key IP ban someone, or you could just ban all accounts from a certain
Yeah,
IP.
but what I'm saying is like there might not be proof directly connecting that specific person.
Sure, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to dance around it, like I'm sure they will, then that's probably what'll end up happening.
Also, I have no idea how many people are in like ROT or if they have like a hierarchy or what. I'm just kind of assuming that they do.
Yeah, I mean, Rot's the main one. Obviously, I'm sure there are other
Bad characters.
other
what they call them,
bad
Deadman?
actor clans.
Bad actor. Yeah.
But anyways, that's the update, and the update is that there is no update, so just sit and wait.
But they are still doing it, which Robert, you thought at the beginning of this episode that they gave up, and I was like, no, I don't think so.
I mean, this doesn't mean they haven't.
I don't think they gave up. I mean, I don't think they'd update if they gave up. They would just pretend it never happened, like they do sometimes.
Well, unless the primary perpetrators are banned, then they did nothing.
Disagree.
So-
But anyway.
Okay. Anyways, we do have some more non-news news.
This is kind of, well, it's like a log of fun facts.
Yeah, this is just some behind the scenes for sailing. Volume 1, I'm sure there won't be a Volume 2.
Real hater energy already, Robert. Come on.
Okay.
They even say in the blog how they have many other blogs planned.
Yeah? How often did they say they're going to come out with a community showcase?
Why are you being so negative?
Or a
Why
gazette?
are you being like this?
Or a gazette?
No, this is why we get bad reviews on Apple Podcasts.
anytime-
Leave us a nice review, please.
Anytime they have anything that is like supposed to be a series of continuing things, just expect there to only be one.
Let's just get into it.
You'll be less disappointed.
Let's just get into it. You're so negative.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of hype behind sailing, obviously, being the new skill to RuneScape in many, many years.
Can you guys believe we voted for a new skill back in 2022?
Yeah, it's been over 2 years.
It's so crazy. I think almost 2 years. I think it was the Winter Summit.
Pretty much over 2 years.
It might have been the Summer Summit. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. 2 years-ish.
Yeah. So, anyways, at that time,
being 2022.
Being 2022, there was a team of mods being Elena, Husky, Light, Gecko, Errol, Jerv, Grub, and Curse, with support from Aiza and Kieran. And after months of surveys and the Summer Summit, they were able to lock in sailing. So they actually didn't even start working on it for a year. So they've really only been working on it for 1 year so far, which I guess is fine, I think.
I think that's fine, because otherwise we wouldn't have gotten the choice between all the skills, you know?
Yeah.
I still love the idea of shamanism. Just saying.
It's hard not to be cynical when reading some of this stuff, but at least for me. But it's funny because a year is a long time, but it's also like not. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, take your time as long as like the skill doesn't suck.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I saw a meme that reminded me of you. It says engine changes for small quality of life and bug fixes. And then just the guy screaming me like, how long does it take to make energy run changes, and just complain about RAM stuff. And then it says engine changes for a new skill and one of the largest content expansions to date. And they say, this looks like way too much effort to be worth. What a waste of dev time.
I don't think I've ever said any of that.
No, but you saying that just reminded me. I wanted to show you that meme.
Oh, okay, cool. I was all like, I couldn't care less about small things like that.
Yeah.
But
do you think this is a waste of dev time?
No.
Okay.
No, the thing is, I don't think they have like the pipeline for like creating new things in the game like made well, is I guess my main criticism. Which is, I mean, probably true, just because they don't make that much new content if you think about it. So I guess that would kind of make sense. And anyways, it was mainly just like a point that they're going to bring up later in referencing how they're designing how boats move. And that like they had like 7 options that we're going to go over. And it was very obvious after reading the 7 that the first one was just by far the best option.
I thought it was so funny. I'll talk about it again, because I read these at work in my break, and I was like, oh my god, this is so many options. Then they're like, we chose option 1. And I'm like, then why did you list all of these?
Yeah.
But I mean, some people are curious.
After
so
having read them, I'm like, why are these other ones even a like thought in your brain?
They have to use all their exhaust all their options. There we go.
I guess like I would have like, you know, them in the brainstorm maybe, but they said they even took them into development to confirm they weren't good options, and I'm like, why would you do that?
Because they just want someone else to try too. I'm fine with the way they're doing it so far.
Yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. Whatever gets you to the end of the story. But...
Anyway, we are only on the 2nd paragraph still.
Well, I mean, do you want it to be a short episode?
No,
or...
I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay, so they say, until now we've aimed to only share sailing updates when everything feels perfectly polished. However, that never happens. So instead of you missing out on many of the fun parts of the journey, even if they don't look perfect, they just want some of your feedback, because it is fairly invaluable.
I think that I liked their idea of waiting until it all looked good, but now they say that, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'd actually prefer updates every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I forget sailing even exists, to be honest.
Yeah, and
so
I mean, most of it is like really boring stuff anyways right now, so I think the only people that'll like tune in are people that'll like actually kind of care about how it's going, and everyone else is probably just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
But they do say that they want to bring us back on board as we sail through the treacherous waters of development, hopefully making it safely to shore.
How many sailing puns are in this blog, do we think?
All of them.
Cool.
Today, we'll be talking about how boats navigate from a technical perspective, pathfinding algorithms, and movement styles. And then next, we'll go through the feedback from our Sailing Closed Tech Alpha. Finally, they have an update on the Open Alpha.
Tech Alpha?
Yeah, so this is the technical alpha. It's not the alpha in that...
you don't get to explore the whole world, right?
Yeah, alpha usually refers to a very early unfinished state of something. The technical alpha means you're only testing the technical parts of
Like
it.
you're in one harbor just going back and forth.
Yeah, you're literally just making sure that the things technical in the patch work. Not that they look good, not that they are rewarding, just that they work.
Okay. Navigation. In our last blog post, we mentioned laying the tech foundations for sailing navigation. This includes the ability for players to own various boats, board and disembark from them, move them, interact with onboard facilities, adjust camera and zoom distance, and more. The next step is bring all hands on deck with an open tech alpha. This involves extension engine work as well as some important decisions behind the scene. So our first question was whether boats should move like players or have their own unique movements. Players are used to moving their character around by clicking, but boats are quite a bit larger. In the game code, they're actually considered land masses. Which is kind of goofy.
That's how you used to think about islands.
How dare you? Anyway, I was going to say it's like we all have our own little islands that are floating on the ocean, like how islands are supposed to be.
Yeah, sure.
The size of ships mean that they are crashing into all sorts of things. We also ruled out smart pathing. I feel like smart pathing is notoriously not smart.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works fine. Sometimes it really doesn't.
That's what they use for most NPCs in the game.
Yeah. So this system determines the most efficient route from one point to another. This is great when you're a minotaur trying to navigate around some annoying pillars, but less great when you're a player trying to sail a ship. For one thing, instead of sailing a ship, it feels like you are the ship, which is not what we are going after. Smart pathing also made the boat wiggle around obstacles like a player might. If you've seen a boat in real life, they obviously don't do that. They do slower wide turns at different speeds.
You gotta upgrade your boat.
Your boat is like...
My boat, it just dances on the water.
It's just twerking. We wanted this to be part of sailing skill expression, so smart pathing had to go. There's actually a GIF that's kind of interesting. So there's a GIF showing A star pathing. It's usually, this is the industry standard, they said. They use it in sat navs. I don't know what that means.
Satellite navigation units.
Oh, that's what RuneScape is, basically. Unfortunately, it caused performance issues and unexpected crashes when scaled up to 2,000 players. Worse, it caused frustrating moments where the route and final angle were unpredictable. And they show a GIF of it, and you're turning in a circle, and the circle's all like janky, and then the game crashes.
Yeah, it's because they run into something.
Yeah, they wiggle though, right? You see that?
Yeah.
It looks like a little wiggle. Anyway, counterintuitively, it seemed that smart pathing wasn't the smartest approach. It takes decisions away from the player, which over time would make sailing less fun. Then it would just be like agility. Agility is super smart pathing, huh? Not sepulcher.
Yeah, it is, but also not. Like, usually it's just, there's pretty much only one path. Like, no one takes the alternative path anyways. So.
Well, whenever I'm on mobile, I don't know where to click next, so I'm just kind of clicking all over.
Yeah, I guess I meant even if it wasn't smart pathing, it's pretty much on rails anyways.
Yeah, and we don't want agility on boats, personally.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, no. We realized that predictability, consistency, and realism are the most important parts of the player experience, especially since we're adding content like the Barracuda trials, which will reward precise movement. So we went back to our guiding principles and concluded that boat movements should be
fun.
Players should enjoy learning and training the skill.
Distinct.
Boat movement should feel unique, making players feel like sailors mastering navigation, not simply an extension of their ship.
Simple.
Telling your character where to walk is simple. Telling your boat where to go should be dead easy too.
And lastly, skill expression.
Players who master navigation should feel rewarded for good movement, not punished for bad movement. We want a high threshold for mastery rather than a high barrier to entry. Which is not... Side note, I've been playing Zelda again on my Switch, and it feels like there's a high barrier to entry with some of these fighting things. I swear to God. It's
a very low barrier.
I did the thing that you did the other day, and it was awful, and it took me so long.
For anyone that is
I'm
wondering,
not good at Zelda.
She's referencing one of the very first combat dungeons that you get into that teaches you how to dodge.
It's so annoying. They're like, ZL, left, right, and then click Y. I'm like, why? Literally. Hello.
Okay.
Anyway, using simple pathing and 7 algorithm, we're able to give players full control. You can now run your ship into all obstacles you like while enjoying predictable and consistent movement. They also have some initial sketches of small boats with a severely tanned person.
That's a sunburn.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, sunburn. He's not even that summer because if you see the tan line, he's just very red under as well. Or he was nude last time he was sunburnt, and then this time he wore clothes.
Anyways,
Sicko pervert.
moving on to some player feedback in the closed tech alpha. So for some time now, they've been holding back that they have been having a secret closed tech alpha. This was
Secret.
secret invite only, and this was taking place on some beta worlds back in June. So players might have seen that the worlds had people in them.
Didn't we notice that a couple months ago?
I think we did.
Yeah.
This is the first time that ever had player input on sailing so far, especially on the core mechanics. So although the feedback initially leaned negative, it was very valuable. And they wanted to thank everyone. The closed tech revealed a number of compounding issues that they hope to fix and get to grips with how the navigation felt. Firstly, we found that large boats are just too big. They take up too much of the screen and are really unwieldy in most cases. So there's only going to actually be two
I thought this was
types of boats.
interesting. If you guys remember before, we were going to have like small, large, and orangutan.
Goliath boats,
I think
gargantuan,
it's
colossal, whatever
something.
word they want to use
Orangutan.
for really big.
We're not getting it no more.
We're not getting those. So it's just going to be small and large boats.
For now, I feel like that's something that they'll be able to add.
Yeah, they do
Eventually.
say for now, but I mean, if it releases that way, it probably won't happen for a long time.
True.
And they also wanted to focus on improving the camera because they wanted it to feel like you were sailing the boat, not playing the boat.
Always wanted to be a boat.
Yeah. Also, the playtesters highlighted a couple of clickbox issues, which helped them discover an error where the game struggled to calculate clickboxes on the boat specifically. So they hope to make this more fluid. And playtesters also revealed that they didn't know how to dock the boat. It wasn't evident where the dock was, and so there is now a new anchor icon on ports where you can actually dock your boat.
To be fair, there's like several different docks at this place.
Port Sarum, yeah, that has a bunch of docks.
Yeah.
After that, though, we're ready to focus on navigation. Our original design locked players in place while they were navigating the boat, unless they exited navigation mode. This was designed to prevent frustrating misclicks. However, playtesters let us know that this feature meant there wasn't enough time to keep the boat moving while trimming the sails.
And luffing.
Yeah, and luffing the sails. To keep this process nice and rhythmic, we've adjusted the space between the sails and other facilities. Sails on small boats and raft will always be clickable while navigating, or at least you'll be within distance to click them, which should help gameplay feel more fluid. Finally, most interestingly, playtesters wanted us to explore perpetual movement.
That can't stop, won't stop, never
Yeah,
stop.
I mean, your boat usually doesn't just stop on a dime. So, the ability to keep your ship moving in the same direction without clicking. During refinement, we thought of this as an advanced feature, but the closed tech alpha made us realize this is something we need kind of now. To truly understand how players felt about perpetual movement, we needed to rapidly test different options, and their current engine, which is a house-made engine, is not good at that.
Not up to par.
So they turned to one of the most popular engines in the game-making community because it is so easy to use, Unity.
Have you heard of it?
Unity is what many games, including Escape from Tarkov, uses.
Oh, wow.
Many AAA games use Unity because it is extremely easy to use.
That's cool.
But it does have limitations in itself. But they're using it for a testing type of environment. They don't plan on switching over to Unity or anything like that. So don't worry. I know a lot of people don't like Unity engine.
Yeah, it's just so they don't have to waste time changing all this code and they'd be like, just kidding, just try something else.
Yeah, so instead of having to recreate the test into RuneScape, which would take them, what they have said, between 6 to 8 weeks in order to even build it, each time they want to iterate on it. This they can whip up in just a few days and have a testable version of the different boats with different scales and using different instructions to try to navigate with them.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, so overall, that's pretty cool. They do have a little mock-up showing you of all the different boats they tested out in Unity.
Cute. I like them. So they also go into detail about the Unity ship movement prototypes. This is the one that we were saying that there's like 7 things. We'll go over them. Spoiler alert. They choose like option 1.
Yeah.
Spoiler. So movements 1 and 2. I don't know why they're put together. Oh, well, it's slightly different, but
It is very slightly different.
so you click the ocean to set your direction, not your destination. You click the boat icons from the side panel or your sail to set your speed. And in movement 2 specifically, you click behind the boat while moving to stop. Which is it's like one of those weird bikes, where you start pedaling backwards.
Yeah.
Snaps to quarter tiles and 16 directions. When setting a direction, the boat will move perpetually until it collides with something or you press stop.
They do also have little videos describing and showing what the test actually looked like. Number 3 and 4, these will make it so that when you click the ocean, you set your destination, and you can click the boat icons on the side panel or your sail to set your speed. Your last speed is remembered whenever you begin to move from a stationary position, so you don't have to reset it constantly. And also, it doesn't adhere to a grid system, so it just freely goes as it pleases. And number 4 specifically, the sail perpetually in the direction you clicked until you collide or press stop.
I love this sailing perpetually.
So for anyone that needs a quick breakdown, number 1 is you go in a direction and it adheres to a grid. Number 2 is essentially the same thing, but you click behind you to stop. Number
so funny.
3 and 4, they have speed variation based on you being able to change it by either clicking on the sail or in your menu, and they don't go on a grid. And number 3 doesn't go in a direction perpetually. It only goes where you click to go. Number 4 does go perpetually.
Number 3 and 4 are not chosen.
Number 3 was in the running, though.
Oh, I don't remember that. Number 5, click to move to tile. Moves in full tile increments at run speed in 8 directions. Movement 6, click to move tile. Moves in a straight line with no snapping at any angle without adhering to the grid. And movement 7, click to move in a direction relative to your boat and perpetually move unless you stop or collide with an obstacle. And click next to your boat to stop.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
But internally, they liked 1 and 4, but we didn't want to make a final decision until we heard back. And methods 1 and 2 had predictability and consistency that they were looking for, but it relied on a side panel. Methods 3 and 4 relied less on the side panel, but had their own issues with movement as it was traveling to the destination tile. We sometimes saw wiggling movements and abrupt stops. This is great for short distance, but not over very long distances or complex movements.
AKA the Barracuda Triangle.
Barracudas?
What's it called?
Yeah,
Trials.
Yeah, that one. We were hoping that the playtesters would have a definitive preference, and they did. Methods 1 and 3 proved to be the most equal favorites, 1 being the one that allowed you to set your direction, not a destination, and allowed you to click the boat icon on the side panel to set your speed. And also, it snapped to tiles in 16 directions. And whenever you collided with something, you would stop. Number 3 was very similar, but the difference is that you set a destination, not a direction. You click the boat icon or the side panel for your speed, so it's kind of similar. Your last speed is remembered, and it doesn't adhere to a grid system.
And it does not sail perpetually.
It doesn't sail perpetually, and it doesn't stop whenever you hit something, I guess. But I'm sure it does, but they just don't mention that here.
You just go flying into Vera.
Yeah, you just sail it. You sail up to all the NPCs.
Stupid. Yeah, 1 is definitely the clear winner here.
Yeah, so they pretty much just stopped looking at number 2, and they need to decide between 1 and 3. So the final verdict was that ultimately they decided to go with number 1, as they highly valued consistency and predictability, and its adherence to the familiar grid system proved popular with playtesters. So although we were worried about the side panel, we realized that the side panel itself was not the issue. The problem was that the players didn't want to rely on it for movement. Looking ahead, the side panel will be used to control crew members, but we feel that having your character interact with things on the boat is critical for the skill. And for anyone that's wondering how you change your speed, apparently you just click on the sail and that'll allow you to change the speed. So
I'm sure something we'll hear more detail on as well.
That's what they mean by not relying on the side panel.
Okay. Additionally, nope, I skipped something. Earlier, we talked about skill expression. So method 1, the one that they chose, gives us a great foundation to build content around consistent and predictable movement patterns. For example, the ship has a consistent turn pattern which always arcs with the same degree. Sailing is a scale Sailing is
Sailing
a
is
skill.
a scale.
A scale, and we're excited to see players get mechanically better at it while their level goes up. That's only achievable when movement is consistent. Additionally, we'll be implementing clear visual indicators via the game side panel or chat box to highlight where you need to click to stop or start your boats. They also included some pictures here showing how the boat used to look. Like the small one was still pretty big, and they have made it a tiny baby.
Yeah.
And a little raft. But I kind of like the raft one, to be
And they
honest.
also did mention that these are more kind of mock-ups, and they're really
yeah.
going for just usability over their
Aesthetic.
previous mock-up, which was actually meant to look good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they just want to let you know that these are going to be the rough size. They might not be the same design.
Yeah. So Unity allowed us to test our tiny little baby ships, including the 1x3 raft. This tiny vessel can fit one additional facility outside the tiller and sails. Small boats feel great to steer. They fit neatly on the screen and pose little challenge to navigation at sea. While this may feel limiting at first, it's a natural start to your sailing journey, and it avoids overwhelming you with loads of choices while you're still learning the ropes. Upgrading to a bigger boat with more facilities will be a natural part of the skill's progression. Speaking of, large ships take up a much larger portion of the screen's real estate in exchange for more facilities and more room to run around on board. Playtesting boats of various sizes has let us figure out the optimum layout for facilities, ensuring they complement the core gameplay loop. Our playtesters love the updated boat sizes too, which has given us plenty of confidence moving forward. I like the little raft. Just let that be known.
All right.
Thought you'd agree.
Yeah,
Got,
yeah.
Like, kind of quiet after I said that.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, for sure.
What's next, Robert?
Well, they're going to come out with the skill in 2 years. They do say that your yearning for the sea is obvious, and if you are one of those that are yearning, then you can hopefully join in the next open technical alpha. So first they need to run one more closed technical alpha, which you obviously will likely not be invited to.
You're not invited.
They need to run through all the feedback changes and stuff like that, resolve some collision issues, and then right now our boats currently intersect with the edge of the coast and it looks a bit weird. So additionally, we've been exploring on-site playtesting options that will rapidly speed up feedback and allow us to deliver sailing so you can, curse out whichever mod made this thing that you hate in person.
Don't do that.
If you get invited. We've already had a successful on-site playtest with just 3 players, and everything seems to be working as expected. Now we're increasing the number of playtesters as we continue. Currently, our
Cool.
playtesters live all over the world. Many of them have been picked from discussions in the official OSRS sailing Discord or by referral. We're always open to inviting more players and keeping the numbers relatively small to ensure everyone's voices are heard. If you'd like to help out, you can let us know by filling out the survey below.
Yeah, and this is just for one-off sessions. You're not going to be like their go-to guy for the rest of sailing.
Yeah.
But still kind of cool if you want to do it. There's a survey. And they even say that if you're close to Jagex, they might invite you into the office for a playtest.
Yeah. And they say that we also want playtesters to consider the design goals we mentioned earlier, whether it's fun, natural, distinct, and intuitive, and do you feel like you could get better at sailing over time?
Cool. Navigation isn't all we've been working on, though. This is just the first of many update blogs, and we can't wait to show your progress as development continues.
Sure.
This is where you're doubtful. Much of the sailing gameplay, such as port task and shipwreck salvaging, have already been added to the scale prototype. This means you'll be able to try both of them in the open tech alpha next year. Additionally, we've started to map out areas of the ocean. They have like a little picture here. They have, what is that called? The Firth of Lum?
The Firth of Lum, yep.
Bay of Sarum, Mud Skipper's Sound, Remington Strait, Brimhaven Bight.
Bigrit? Bite. Oh,
Bite,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah,
Sure.
there's a map.
Whatever,
Check it out,
you
guys.
made that up.
We've also developed new tech for future ship combat. The GIF below shows players casting spells from a ship. It may not look like much, but even small things like this take a great deal of engine work, requiring bespoke solutions for complex problems. In this instance, we had to program the engine to check whether players can see their targets while moving on a ship. All the hard work goes into these features is well worth it because they pave the way for more exciting encounters further down the line. There's someone getting ice barrage, and their boat just keeps on sailing away. And they're just frozen in their boat, just perpetually sailing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw people making fun of this, but I didn't even think. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, what is the point of freezing someone who's just gonna keep moving?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they show two little blue krakens in the water,
You're a
which are
blue
kind of cute.
kraken.
Anyway,
Yeah, if you saw our last blog, you'll remember that we also shared some new islands that'll be arriving with sailing. Needless to say, we're working on more behind the scenes.
Robert doesn't believe you.
No, I just honestly, the thing that I'm like super doubtful about, or just like, why do you always bring this up, is that, oh, this is new engine work. Yeah, brother, this is a video game. Just because it's not a reskin, you don't need to tell us it's an engine overhaul like it's a big deal. This is your job. Like,
I think it's interesting because I'm not a hater.
no, it's just they make a big deal about engine work, and I'm like, yeah, that is like the premise of your entire existence is to do engine work.
Listen, there's
I,
probably some people who are like, why is it taking so long? Just add it and don't understand anything.
yeah, I'm sure.
Like me.
I guess my main thing is like, I'm sure there's like 101 different ways that I could show you that even when you do non-engine work, it's still slow or just bad. So it's like, don't. And I don't like that they're using it kind of as like, this is why it's taking so long. I'm like, you don't need to include this.
It's just taking a long
Most
time.
people don't understand
Oh,
or
they're
care.
doing what I do, which is they over-explain stuff for no reason.
Yeah, you can be like,
I do that
oh,
a
this is
lot.
taking up a lot of dev time. People are like, all right, cool. That makes way more sense than this is engine work. Who cares?
Anyway,
But yeah,
we hope that you enjoyed this update. If you have any questions for the team, they will be live on Tuesday, the 27th of August at 4 p.m. BST for a sailing Discord stage. So that's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I believe. That'll be to answer your questions and talk more about the blog post. They also want to take this moment to thank everyone who's helped them out so far, whether that's with feedback in the little alphas, all that jazz. Keep up the feedback, guys, but make it constructive. Don't tell people to like off themselves.
yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Classic feedback. What do you think of the blog? Are you more or less excited about sailing or same?
Honestly, I guess technically more.
I'm more, for
Yeah,
sure.
I thought the boats were too big to begin with.
I didn't think that they were too big until I saw these pictures and realized, wow, the boats were kind of ridiculously big before.
Yeah, the boats were already too big, especially based on how far you could zoom out. Also, I mean, I kind of like lost faith a little bit because it seemed like obvious that option one from the get-go was just by far the best option, and the fact that they weren't even considering including perpetual movement to begin with seems like a serious miscalculation to me.
Well, I feel like that almost gives me hope more because they're that open to feedback that they're like, oh yeah, we need to change this. That makes way more sense.
I guess so, but the thing is, I'm thinking of like, what if there's things that they don't catch during iteration just because they're not good at game design?
Well, I think that's why they want more people to join, so people can catch stuff.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, what if they don't? Then it just never gets caught because no one thought of things that seem kind of obvious.
This reminds me, I play Phasmophobia, not as much anymore, but one of my friends from Phasmo, Unholy, literally doesn't play RuneScape. I just got him to play and he just killed like 13 goblins and stopped. He plays Phasmo so much, he was actually asked by the devs to do some of the testing, and he like sent me a screenshot of like some of the dev notes, and he's like, I was the one who found this bug. And I was like, I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh,
So
that's
you
cool.
could be that person for RuneScape. He also said that he caught it, and even though they said that they fixed it, they actually didn't fix it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You
But
could be
yeah,
that person.
yeah, overall, I mean, I guess better because I do think these were good decisions. Is not testing in like a crappy testing environment was a good decision.
I like that they're doing it all over the world too, not just having people in England only.
I don't really care about that.
I think that's cool because then it has more diverse players.
I guess so.
And you can play on different
that
pings
I
and
don't.
stuff.
It's not that I'm not a fan of diversity. I just don't think it adds anything to the play testing. I mean, it's it's
But I
just,
mean, like, it's testing on different ping and stuff. I feel like that's kind of important.
I guess so, but like
Right?
that shouldn't be like that big of a deal.
I don't know. I mean, it's a big deal for some people.
And you can also test that there by using like rerouting and VPN stuff. So.
Okay, well, I just like that if I wanted to, I would have a chance to do it.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, overall, I think it's good. Honestly, I think they should have just instead of like going through all this iteration, they should have just like taken a few examples of like sailing that was successfully done in other games and just been like, all right, let's RuneScape this and then go ahead, and it would save you like weeks and weeks and weeks at least.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of glad that they tried the different ones. Even though some of these reading the back, I'm like, that sounds like an awful idea. I don't think it's a bad idea to test them all out.
Yeah.
But I'm also like definitely that person who, if I was working in game development, would be like, all right, guys, let's just try out everything and get paid to try out everything.
Sure.
Because why not?
Mostly, like, I'm thinking that movement type 3 and movement type 1, I mean, more so 3 because there's no grid, is extremely similar to how sailing is in Valheim.
The no grid seems weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like that.
I mean, like I said, if they just were like, oh, this is cool, and then let's put it on a grid because that's RuneScape, and then they would have, saved all of this dev time and feedback, at least to some extent, right? Having somewhere to start off of. Maybe they did that, and this didn't take nearly as much time, but considering this is almost all about this, I feel like this took a lot of time.
I think this is also all about this because they just wanted to keep us updated and make it seem like a lot's going on.
Yeah. But I think if anyone's ever played Valheim, it actually is pretty cool, and it is fairly, like, where did they use? It is intuitive, but it's also
fun.
There's skill expression because it is, like, not the easiest.
I've seen you doing that, Valheim. It looks fun.
I like it because you can, like, unfurl the sails in increments. So if you want to go really fast, you unfurl them all the way. If you want to go slower, you can just do it a little bit.
Okay.
So I think that's really cool. And also it doesn't stop on a dime, which is cool. It has perpetual movement. I wouldn't add the wind element that Valheim has. It's probably the worst part of it. So yeah, like I think I'm glad they ended up on this, path. But I feel like if you just took that idea, then you would have been there faster.
Yeah.
That's my main gripe.
I'm feeling pretty positive about this. It actually seems like it'll be kind of fun. Seeing the boats move around and their old gifts before were like, I think they were like too low detail or something. And I was like, ugh.
They were not very good. And you were only going in one direction.
Yeah, one direction. But
there's no turning or anything like that.
These make me feel a lot more better about it. And I'm like, okay, I could see how this would actually be fun now.
Yeah.
I could actually see it. So I'm excited for it. Still not shamanism, but I'm feeling a billion times better than I did yesterday.
Shamanism would have been so much cooler, bro.
I want shamanism.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe they'll add shamanism and we'll be like, this skill sucks.
I'm still not even convinced. They're all like, yeah, you can go into a different spirit realm. I'm like,
that was so cool.
Yo, what? Anyways, till the end.
Anyway,
till
R.I.P.
the
shamanism.
end, I will like shamanism more.
Supposedly, they might talk about it in 2026.
No, 2036. Calm down.
Rumor has it.
But yeah, so that's it for sailing and this week's blogs, those two extra blogs. So we can move into what we have for questions.
Q&A time. Wow. Okay. So, first question is from Matt on Discord. What is the most out of place thing Jagex has added to the game? By that I mean something that doesn't feel like it fits in the universe of RuneScape at all. Also only count permanent editions, not stuff like holiday events. I don't actually know my answer yet. I was kind of thinking I'd catch up to an answer and I didn't.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
I've always
stuff.
Maybe this is why I don't do it often, but I've always felt like managing miscellanea is extremely weird to me. That
really?
It's in the game.
I don't think it feels that weird to me.
You become straight up royalty and get paid royalties for managing land that you pretty much never manage.
Yeah.
It is
strange.
It's weird. I don't know. It's like the fact that you're royalty, I guess, it's like an entirely different games thing or something.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I was just saying that they're all like, "Oh, this would be cool in RuneScape," and then they like somehow made it into RuneScape.
There's like something, I don't know what it is, but they have sometimes there'll be like little small things in quests that remind me too much of like technology, like more technology in a way. I can't think of examples, but there's been stuff that I'm like, this feels too close to like an engine or something.
Yeah.
And it like weirds me out because it's supposed to be like all Renaissance-y. I can't think of what it is though.
True.
But there's been a couple moments in quests I'm like, oh, this is strange.
Yeah.
Which as I'm like fighting dragons and stuff, I mean, I guess anything could happen, to be fair. But yeah, nothing like sticks out in particular. I'll keep an eye out though, because that's a good question. I wish I had a good answer.
Yeah, I don't think theme wise, but yeah, definitely like gameplay wise.
I could think of something theme wise.
Miscellania is like so close to like a mobile game esque of
Yeah,
like you're
actually.
like, oh, all right, cool.
And
Let me
it's time locked. Come
you,
back in a week.
you like log in. All right, let me check on my city, see what kind of stocks I got
That's
in return. I'm
true.
like, what is this? Why is this in the game, dude?
Something that is very tiny, that is strange, is some of the like paintings I think in the Lumbridge Castle are like weird looking. I don't. I need to like pull them up. This is gonna take a second. Okay, we'll ask the next. I'll ask the next question. You could answer while I pull it up. Okay.
Okay.
Question from Harger: is it time for a cooking update? Is it time? Is it?
Is it time for a cooking update?
Yes. Give us the rat pet
Um,
wearing a chef's hat.
I
Or give
think
me death.
it is not time for a cooking update, but I think it would definitely highly benefit from a cooking update because, like for instance, pretty much the vast majority of cooking that people actually do is fishing cooking,
Yes.
which is just really just feels like an extension of fishing at this point. Like you're not gonna, unless you're a main, obviously you'll do this, but you're not gonna just like you're like, all right, cool, I have 10,000 fish that I just found, let me cook them all. Like, no, you just did hours and hours of fishing to get that. So it's like,
I think there could be like a cool cooking mini game or something. Something different.
yeah, I just don't like everything being a mini game
That's
because then this
true.
game just becomes mini games, which
But
is kind of
then
weird.
it's like not rewarding to do anything other than fishing, I feel
Yeah,
like.
exactly. That's why I think it'd be like nice to have some type of overhaul where it's like maybe you make like recipes way less tedious because that's the reason they're not done is because it's all like, oh, I can make this whatever pie that is way better than whatever fish I can currently make, but it's like a 12-step process and you got to ask your dad how to do
Oh, like
it.
the cocktails too at the Gnome Stronghold. It's
The,
like, who has
everything.
time
It's
for
like, oh, let
these?
me make my cheese, potato, tuna casserole dish
Mm-hmm.
taco thing so that I can get 5 extra health. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that,
They
dude.
could definitely do something like that and incorporate with Hunter because they have all those Hunter foods.
They did kind of do that with
They
Hunter,
did a little bit, but it
which
could
is
be more.
okay. Yeah, it's definitely not the best.
Cooking is just like one of those skills that's like kind of boring.
Yeah.
It could be more fun. I pulled up in Lumbridge. The painting is weirdly realistic. And I don't like that. I turned off HD. The Lumbridge, there is a painting of the king on the first floor whenever you go in. That's supposed to be the king upstairs, Robert. Why does he have like lines on his face?
Dude, that's Mod Ash.
No, it's not. That would be really funny though. But yeah, it's like a weirdly realistic picture of a king on the wall. And every time I see them, I'm like, oh, whoa, someone just died here.
Honestly, it kind of looks like one of the mods for sure.
Stop. Someone. I'm in Lumbridge. I have the party plug-in on, so whenever people die, there's fireworks, and fireworks just went off. Someone just died at the steps. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I don't know. That one just weirds me out. They always feel weird. I think there's paintings in a couple more places that are like weirdly hyper realistic as well. It just throws me off.
All
Doesn't
right.
seem right to me. That's my answer. Oh, we also had some answers to questions from last week I wanted to say. So last week we talked about one of Rate's questions about brand partnerships with RuneScape, you know? Harger had an answer for that, being IHOP. There will be a menu called Runepakes. Runepakes, like cakes. It's 4 pancakes
Yep.
with special frosting and filling. Strawberry filling for the fire rune with red strawberry frosting formed in the shape of a fire rune symbol. Vanilla for air, chocolate for earth, blueberry for water. And then Harger said, by the way, I've never actually been to IHOP, but I know it from Reddit and movies, and it seems like they have silly things on their menu sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's cute. I have a story about IHOP. No, I won't share it.
Most of your stories are not good.
I won't share it. What did that remind me of? Oh, the pancakes. It reminded me of whenever Aloe was here and we went out to eat for breakfast and Aloe ordered the pancakes and it was one single pancake.
A singular pancake.
I was talking about on stream and I was like, Aloe, how was your pancake? It was like $15.
It was.
It was a fancier restaurant, I guess, and we did not realize that when we went there. But that's fine. IHOP thoughts? I like pancakes. I
mean,
like it.
I guess that's fine. Whatever. It's yeah, totally cool.
Okay.
It's funny. There was like I thought it was so ridiculous. There was like a pancake collaboration with someone. It was like, I don't know, the Minions or whatever, dude. and it was like completely purple. Like the entire pancake was
Isn't there
purple.
one purple guy?
And it was covered in like purple icing and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, once you start putting icing on your breakfast cake, that's when it just transcends to fully dessert.
But when we have cinnamon rolls with icing, that's different. That's still breakfast.
That is also
That's
dessert.
breakfast. We had that like last weekend
That no.
for breakfast.
Most American breakfasts that are baked are straight up dessert.
Yeah. I like savory usually in the morning, but every once in a while I could F with some icing cinnamon rolls. They're yummy.
Okay.
You like donuts.
Yeah. I never said I didn't. But yeah, so that's I guess mostly it. I mean, did you even answer the cooking question?
Yeah, I think that we should. And I said I think that we should have a little cooking mini game. And you're like, not everything should be a mini game. And I felt called out, so I was stunned into silence.
Oh, you just didn't really feel strongly about what you said.
No, I think that there should be like something fun cooking. But the thing is, we have cooking mini games. They just need to make them better. Because like they have like the delivery and stuff. I don't know. I think we should have something like in the Trollheim area. You know how they have that guy cooking in there? Like you're just like going and like helping him do stuff and he tells you recipes and you could all just do it in that one room. You know, it's not like the gnome where you're delivering it. Apparently I do have thoughts on this. Apparently I have a whole idea.
Yeah, I mean there's also a minigame that already exists in Hosidius.
Yeah, but no one does that.
I think people do it.
I actually did it once. It was fine.
Especially because Hosidius has a really high non-burn rate.
Yeah, I think that they just need to make stuff like that better so it's actually like a viable option because everyone will just go and cook fish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think cooking should be separated kind of from cooking just like slabs of meat. Cuz like yeah, I mean you can buy like a bunch of like cow like beef or whatever, you know, fish and then just cook that, but I'm like that's technically cooking, I guess, but like that's like
this sounds like a quote being like you're not actually living, you're just surviving.
Yeah, it's like I guess like kind of assumed that at like 99 like cooking you kind of like are like more chefy, but you can get there just cooking.
And I make crumbles the entire way.
For instance, you can get to 99 cooking relatively fast by only ever putting grapes into water.
Yeah.
Like what is that?
I mean, that's kind of how it is with most skills. Once you get closer to 99, it's like no one actually does these things. Rune plate body and like, smithing.
The only one that actually is like okay in this regard is like crafting, where you actually unlock good stuff.
And Agility's had some good unlocks now.
Yeah, now it does, but
not before.
Yeah, like you don't. I mean, you get access to like cooking sharks like really early on. It's just how much do you want to waste your time burning them?
That's true.
it's kind of dumb actually.
Yeah, cooking's not a fun skill.
Cooking is really not just how good you are at cooking, it's how good you are at not burning things.
And how patient you are, because I'm not patient enough. Eileen actually just got 200 mil cooking the other week. Shout out Eileen, you're a crazy gamer.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience.
In general, though, I do think cooking should be more about like combining things, but
actually
like
being a chef, not just doing the bare minimum.
Making it not as annoying.
We don't even season our fish.
It's true.
How despicable is that?
Yeah, you just put regular old butter, not even salted butter.
I don't even think we put butter. We just eat it.
No, not on the fish, on like the potatoes and stuff.
Oh yeah, no salt, no pepper.
Yeah.
The bare minimum. Anyway, that's it for our Q&A.
That is it. Thanks again for asking your questions. We hope to get more questions next week, and if you want to, you can ask them on any of our social media.
Yeah, that's our TikTok and Twitter, Bunebapeosrs. Our Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram are all just Bunebape. I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. Mostly on Fridays are my longer streams, so come hang out with me and raid or something. Yep. And ask me questions for the podcast.
There you go. So hopefully you all enjoyed this episode, and thank you for listening. We'll see you all
very soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.